Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Please welcome my friends for the day. They kind of set the tone for this video because we are talking about the brand new stage adaptation of Winnie the Pooh, which is currently playing as I film at the Riverside Studios in Hammersmith in London before it embarks on a nationwide tour up and down the UK this summer. So if you want to know my thoughts and feelings about this show, then stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So long story short, this is a show for absolutely everybody. It is 65 minutes long and it features all the characters you know and love / identify with, and it's just a whole complete magical experience. The reason I say identify with is because me and my friends were having this conversation prior to going into the show. We were like, if you were one of these members of the Pooh family, if you will, who would you be, or who would you identify with? And in my small friendship group of 3, me being one of them, we had 2 Eeyores and a Piglet, and I kind of wholeheartedly agree with what my friends were saying. We all have a spirit animal. In fact, the reason that Eeyore was bought about 5 or 6 years ago by myself as a grown adult was because I identified with him so much. Plus I'd already been bought Pooh previously and I kind of felt like Winnie the Pooh needed a friend, because that is his whole message, and it's actually quite a poignant message in the show, that your friends will always be there to help you. And I just like, it was very emotional. I cried at least once. But yeah, we all have these friendships and they come, they go, but they will always be there. I love that. It's a message that even the adults in the room can still identify with, because even as adults, we grow up, we make friends through our time, and sometimes we lose them, sometimes they come back, and yeah, it's just lovely. Getting back into the show, this was a whole transportation for me to my youth once again. I was brought up on Winnie the Pooh and A.A. Milne. I have the stories somewhere and I don't know where they've gone. Hopefully I've put them somewhere safekeeping. I can't remember. But the TV show, I feel, was round, or some nation or some type of Winnie the Pooh was around when I was growing up, because I definitely feel like I was put in front of the telly watching a VHS a few times. So to see it in real life as a big 32-year-old was really quite special. The awesome thing about this show as well is that you have those songs that you know really well, which were written by the Sherman Brothers a long time ago, but there are also new orchestrations written by Nate Edmondson, and the whole thing is brought together by the amazing puppets and set, which was all designed by Jonathan Rockefeller and his team from when they did this show over in America. And it is those puppets and that scene. The set pretty much stays very stationary. There is not a lot of set moving, but the backdrop to it is absolutely beautiful. There is a few little clever moments, but generally everything stays still, and I really enjoyed it. The puppets for me are what makes this show truly special. Firstly, they are, I was going to say life size, but in theory they're not, because a rabbit isn't like 6 foot, but they are proper human size, and they just hold all the magic My friend Mark, who writes a blog and does videos with the name Beyond the Curtain, and I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly, sorry Mark if I'm not, he recently did an interview with one of the people who play Pooh by the name of Benjamin Durham, and he, in that interview, Benjamin this is, said that the whole feel of the show changes on the moment that Eeyore enters, and I 100% believe that to be the case, because it happened in our show. Something about little old Eeyore trampling onto stage rather slow but with a really great feel and movement to it just brought everyone together. There was an awe coming from behind me in the theatre. Everyone was just like, yes, he is here, he is, let's do it. And the whole mannerisms that you remember as a child are the same mannerisms that these puppeteers have managed to get into your favourite characters. I literally think it's an amazing job. The cast of this show is really cleverly designed in a way, because each performance needs 5 players and 1 child actor. Players, probably not the right word, but we're going to stick with it. And then the entire cast is actually made up of 9 and 4 children. So each show you may get someone slightly different. In our performance we had the amazing talents of Laura Bacon, Jake Basil, Harry Boyd, Alex Cardle and Lottie Grogan, and our Christopher Robin was played by Charlie Mann Evans. Each one of those did a fantastic job. You don't see a lot of Christopher Robin on stage. He comes towards the end of the show, but he's also narrating the whole thing as well, so I really enjoyed watching and listening to that. And then each puppeteer who was in charge of each character was also absolutely excellent. They kind of had the same kind of accent that you were expecting that character to have. They probably studied quite a lot for their different voices and their different accents. They had it kind of felt like they had the correct vocal sound to each character from what you remember as a child, which I just think is absolutely excellent and very, very clever. Speaking of clever and this cast, I 100% believe that to be the case. There was even times during the 65-minute show that I literally forgot that there was a puppeteer there. I was focusing on the puppets themselves and the movements and the actions that they did. Like, just having Pooh, just whilst he's having a think, he scratches his head, then he like kind of scratches his behind, and I just thought that was absolutely brilliant. And I just like that each actor had their own little character that they could put into their character. I just thought that was really, really excellent. In case you're wondering, this show doesn't necessarily have the world's largest plot, which I don't think is a bad thing, because the way that this has been done, yes, there is a slight story to it, but as the age range of people who are going to see this is going to range from like 1, maybe 2, all the way up to like 92, 102, you still have that little story, but there are things that are going to be happening, and at the end of it you have quite the nice feeling in your tummy. I just feel like warm and snug and happy. Basically, long story short, and to make the very small plot an explanation, Pooh goes on an adventure to find some of his beloved honey after Christopher Robin doesn't turn up in the woods one day because he has to go to school. So Pooh sets off on his journey, meets all of his friends along the way, various different seasons happen in the space of that one day, which is quite hilarious. You even get a small bouncing lesson from Tigger, because as we all know, bouncing is what Tigger does best. I just really enjoyed it. It had cleverness to it. It had Pooh Bear stuck in a tree at one point. It had everything. It even had flying carrots. It had everything. Long story short, I truly loved my time watching this show. There is a small amount of merchandise throughout the show's run to be purchased. That wasn't good English, I'm aware. I'm very blocked up and not feeling my best. I didn't actually purchase anything this time round. There is a tote bag. There is cuddly toys, slightly different in design to these fellas right here. There is also tote bag, t-shirts. There is also a book instead of a program, which cost, I believe, £15. So for this time around I did not purchase. However, as I said at the beginning of this video, this show is actually going to be on a tour up and down the UK after it finishes at the Riverside Studios, which is in May. And one of the places it is going is to the Birmingham Hippodrome for, I think, 2 nights, maybe 3. And I'm actually debating going back, mainly because I want to see how it differs from being in this small room where it currently is into a much larger venue such as the Birmingham Hippodrome. But I can't comment on that yet because I haven't experienced it. So yeah, basically, if you are a fan of Disney, if you've been brought up on the amazing, truly wonderful stories of that guy and his friends, then I would 100% I would 100% recommend you checking out this show and getting a ticket. If anything I've said over the past over 10 minutes has not made sense, I've also started writing reviews for each show again, so I'll leave that link down below if you want something that makes more sense than I have been making. But if you don't, then that is also okay. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you come back next time. I love you a lot and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.